That's enough. You can leave. Go. Shut the door on your way out.
Not so fast. I think we should go for it.
Following the events of the previous film, Eve's body is being transported by an ambulance when it goes off course. The co-driver realizes this and urges the driver to pull over, but the driver pulls a gun on him. Before the co-driver can react, Patrick's half-breed alien child, who was stowed away in the back of the ambulance, strikes, ending the co-driver's life. The driver discovers the half-breed and sees Eve come back to life. Panic grips him as he watches the half-breed wrap its tongue around Eve's throat, ultimately putting an end to her just as she gives birth to a newborn alien. The driver seizes the newborn and escapes when he hears the sound of an approaching military helicopter. When government agent Wasak arrives at the scene, he is shocked by the bloody aftermath and orders an autopsy. The story shifts to a busy power plant where Dean is making a desperate pitch to investors. He explains the plant's dangers but reassures them of the highly advanced safety measures. After the meeting, Dean rushes to his biochemistry class where Dr. Abbott, the co-driver who ran away with Eve's child, is giving a lecture on the ethics of life and death, insisting that no one should decide which species should live or die. Dean strongly disagrees with Abbott's belief. After the lecture, Dr. Turner, the university official, confronts Dean and delivers the grim news that funding for the power plant project is being cut. With an ultimatum hanging over him, Dean must find a professor-approved project or risk losing his scholarship. Abbott overhears Dean's predicament and heads home, where he cares for Eve's child, a girl he has named Sarah. One night, the half-breed boy from the van appears at Abbott's office, older and gravely ill. He pleads to see Sarah and reveals that other half-breeds, his siblings, are also terminally ill. The half-breed later dies in Abbott's chair, leaving the professor in shock. Driven by urgency, Abbott seeks out Dean, his most intelligent and promising student, showing him the lifeless body. He proposes a dangerous plan to perfect the alien DNA to save the species, promising Dean a share of any fortune or fame that may come from it. Back at Abbott's home, Sarah enters a cocoon. Turner, suspicious of Abbott's activities, sneaks into Abbott's house. He encounters Sara, who attempts to seduce him. However, sensing his flaws, she rejects him. Turner, undeterred, tries to force himself on her, which prompts Sara to reveal her true nature and end him. When Dean and Abbott arrive, they discover Turner's body and signs of Sara's transformation. Abbott manipulates Dean into disposing of the body in a nearby lake, suggesting Dean could be a suspect due to Turner cutting his funding. Sara begins her quest for a mate, crashing a university party but rejecting every suitor. Frustrated, she wanders the city and later spots another half-breed on a train, tracking him to a dingy motel. They attempt to mate, but Sara pulls away upon discovering his illness. The next day, Sara meets Dean at Abbott's house, and Abbott takes the opportunity to explain her backstory. She is the product of an astronaut, Patrick, who was infected with an alien on Mars in the second movie, and Eve, a clone of the alien hybrid Syl from the first movie. Determined to avoid past mistakes, Abbott vows not to repeat the errors of previous scientists. Abbott later warns Dean to steer clear of Sara to avoid complications that could jeopardize their project, but this becomes difficult when Sara undresses for a blood sample in front of Dean. Before he can process his emotions, the half-breed rejected by Sara breaks into the lab, attempting to mate with her. Abbott locks himself and Dean in a secure room, releasing hydrochloric gas to kill the creature. Dean, worried about Sara, learns from Abbott that he only needs her eggs for the project, which he has already harvested. As the half-breed tries to mate with Sara, Dean rushes in to save her but is attacked. Since Abbott needs Dean, he intervenes, and they manage to get Sara to safety. However, the half-breed mortally wounds Abbott before succumbing to the gas. Alone, Dean faces the dilemma of continuing Abbott's work. He follows Sara during one of her mating searches, but loses her. She later finds him, trying to seduce him and pleading for his help to save her kind, but he escapes. Back at the university, Dean's roommate, Hastings, reveals he has contacted a woman named Amelia on a dating website. She's a biochemist, surprisingly smart, and he has sent her notes from Dean and Abbott's projects to impress her. However, Amelia turns out to be another half-breed. She tracks Hastings to campus, kidnaps him, and brings him to Abbott's house. Sara and Amelia force Hastings to work on perfecting alien DNA, despite his lack of expertise. Meanwhile, Agent Wasak receives Eve's autopsy result, which reveals she gave birth in the ambulance. In disbelief, Wasak orders her body to be burned. He later meets up with his team, who have been monitoring Amelia's actions, and heads to pick up Dean at the university to eliminate the alien threat. They storm Abbott's house, releasing hydrochloric gas, which allows Hastings the opportunity to escape with Sara's eggs. The trio retreats to the power plant, pursued by Sara and Amelia. They aim to trap the aliens in the plant's core, risking a catastrophic meltdown. Dean drops Sara's eggs into the core, igniting a fierce confrontation with Amelia. Sara intervenes, and they both tumble into the core. In a race against time, Dean seals the core just before a meltdown disaster. 3 weeks later, Hastings visits Dean, who reveals he managed to rescue Sara and successfully completed the alien DNA project, creating a mate for her. As Dean sends Sara and the now-grown alien away, Sara silently shows her feelings for Dean. Hastings worries about a future alien takeover, but Dean reveals he ensured there's no risk of reproduction by making the male alien sterile.